Hello, my friend. Welcome to the Goddess Breath podcast. I'm Dr. Mari Castle, and I'm your host. And it's such a pleasure to be here back with you after I've had a little break, a little time to go inward myself, and just a little reprieve after all that I had going on as I tailed off the last series of the Goddess Breath podcast, which was on my first book. So I'm returning with renewed inspiration and a deep commitment to sharing these sacred stories and practices that continue to help shape our healing journey. And what I want to do in this episode is just give you a little glimpse of what I'm going to be talking about in the next series, but in the next couple of episodes for the for this podcast. And I'm going to be referring to my second book, which is The Sacred Union: Connecting the Masculine and Feminine Within for Personal Development. When I was writing that book and all the books or the other book that I had, I was immersed in the holotropic breathwork training. And I was experiencing really powerful archetypal vision. So a lot of imagery, like dreaming awake, having a lot of these experiences. And some of them brought me into direct contact with the energies of the ancient goddess Inanna, like I talk about in my earlier episodes, and also of the divine masculine. So Inanna is the divine feminine in my view. uh, a lot of representations of the divine feminine, but namely is what I'm talking about is Inanna. And then Jesus, or what some people refer to as Yahweh. And that to me he represents the divine masculine. So in one of these profound experiences, these energies that I am talking about, the divine masculine and the divine feminine, came together and they merged, not only for me visually, but within me. It was such a profound experience, very fascinating. And I really had no words for it. But I knew what I felt that was in my beingness. So it really stood out. And then I see it really as that I integrated the masculine and feminine energies within me. So what my book is about is all of that, but what I'm going to emphasize in these next couple of episodes is that this is an important area for us in our human beingness and in these current times for us really to pay attention to our own inner masculine and feminine energies. In the Sumerian culture, it was understood that we have both, and they were very balanced as a culture in their, like opposite opposing genders, and even in the whole yin yang, the Tao Te Ching, the balance of opposites. But more than that, it was bringing the opposites together. And their hymns and rituals embrace both the masculine and feminine aspects of the self as essential components of wholeness. This is something, from my view, that our Western culture often forgets. And instead, we project, we polarize, we miss the fullness of what it means to be human. So that brings me to this moment that I really wanted to celebrate the month of Pride Month, as in June. This is the month of June. And I think celebrating Pride, taking a moment to honor the LGBTQ plus community, is a really positive thing to do. because in a way, it has an effect on all of us. So, like, to live authentically, to express your gender identity in alignment with what you feel in the mind, heart, and body, that's a sacred act. It's not new. It's what I'm saying. It goes back to ancient times. It was reflected in the ancient hymns to Inanna, and they represented as androgynous human beings. And they integrated their masculine and feminine energies in like a procession, very much like what we do today with the celebration of pride and the celebration of the LGBTQ plus community that can finally fully express themselves, right? So, yeah, just referring again to the Sumerian culture and particularly Inanna as the warrior goddess of love, war, and fertility, she was honored in these processions where men wore women's garments and women wore men's, and that they acknowledged this divine balance within. It wasn't considered anything shameful. Uh, it was holy. And that's why, for me, seeing this uh, in our day and age still representing is a beautiful thing. I think it's just a really awesome thing. So I will be sharing the hymn, just a glimpse of it here in a little bit. And one more thing I want to mention that is important is that Carl Jung, the famous Swiss psychologist that I talk about in my earlier episodes and in my first book, um, talks a lot about this concept of individuation, which is basically integrating the masculine and feminine energies. And this helps us, in his view, to be more whole, to experience more wholeness, to just not only know that we have these, but to fully express in and see it and integrate it and bring it into our everyday, instead of the separation that often happens. And yeah, I think that breath work, meditation, archetypal reflection are all powerful tools to support this inner union. So, what I'd like to do is start with a breath practice with you. And my choice of the breathing practice that I wanted to bring to you today is the fire breath. I think this is a really wonderful practice to move energy, to release what we no longer need, and to just help you kind of feel more centered. It's also really good for your immune system, which I know people are having some trouble with COVID right now. There's another strain of COVID apparently, and I'm saying this, again, we're in June in the summer, um, and that it's also helpful for your digestion because of where it's at, and that it is good for letting go what you no longer need in the way of habits or patterns that are kind of keeping you stuck, blocked, uh, not able to kind of move forward, or just that you're just not able to overcome these particular habits that are no longer serving you. Of course, we can have good habits too, which is a good thing with breath practices, right? So, yeah, and then this particular breath technique promotes mindfulness. And that can be very helpful in today's day and age as well. So I am going to walk you through this breath practice, which is the fire breathing. And This is a breath practice. It's simple, like the other ones that I've shared. It's all in through the nose, in and out through the nose. So you're just breathing in and out through the nose. That's what makes it kind of tricky and a little bit more difficult to get in the practice. But if you put your hand on your uh, just above or just below your rib cage, this center space right here. And I'll tell you about my shirt and when I finish this because I'm wearing the shirt. But that you're going to push up, so contract your abdominal, and then you're doing it in through your mouth, or I'm sorry, in through your nose and out through your nose. And you're doing it kind of quickly. And what this does is stimulating all these energies in your body, like I said, for balance, for boosting the immune system, for the respiratory system, even. It can be really helpful for that, for digestion, because it's just you're utilizing your abdominal muscles. So I'm going to go ahead and just show you quickly what this looks like, and then we're going to do just 3 rounds of it. Okay, we're going to take a break and just do another round, and then I want you to see how you feel in between and what comes up, what you notice from it. So here I go. This is what it looks like. Now I'm taking a break. You notice my shoulders are relaxed. I'm not moving. My body's moving, but my shoulders aren't. So as you're doing this with me, join in these next couple rounds, and then we'll take little breaks, but then go back to it. Okay. So just do the best you can. It can be a little weird. And like I said, having your hand on your upper abdomen can be super helpful. And then, you can also kind of stimulate at the forehead too. Ah, great. Hopefully you feel a little something. This one's not easy, but staying with it can be really beneficial. We're going to begin again. And go as far as you can go. If you can't go anymore, just take a break. You can go faster or slower. Just take a break. Just think about clearing away, clearing things that no longer serve you, really opening your energy, boosting your energetic field to help with your immune system. Yeah, so helpful. So one more round. All right. Very good. Very good. Thank you for participating in that with me. All right. So my shirt is First Unity that I got. Just I'm involved in a spiritual community that I'm just super grateful to have. And we are all inclusive. not exclusive, and we welcome everybody. And that's, just I'm excited. I'm wearing this shirt because I'm talking about Pride Month, uh, that we're celebrating all people. And that's what the ancient cultures did, is they brought in people that had, all different differences and backgrounds, and that actually is was celebrated to be different, right? And I think that it's important to say that um, I weirdness is good. There's nothing wrong with it. Why would you want to be so normal? But I don't want to digress and go off into another thing. I just wanted to share that with you, and that it's not weird to think that we have, as a female, masculine energies, and it's not weird as a man to think that we have feminine energies. We have been very much told that that's not how we're supposed to be, and therefore men have really suffered greatly with not being able to connect with their emotions, which is kind of a feminine aspect or characteristic. And then women also, that shouldn't be assertive, that they should be passive. So both masculine and feminine genders have suffered quite a bit, just as you know generally, right? Not to mention then having a specific gender expression that you feel inside of your body, but have this societal repression that only creates shame, and that just also stuffs down what you want to say and fully express. So I actually feel that we are um, at a time when we should be celebrating these people, that they are able to be fully in their expression. They are able to have courage to come out. They are the brave ones to want to put that at the forefront of their uh, what's a priority for them, that otherwise they're just hiding what their inner truth is. And who would want to live that way? Who would want to live in a sense of that you're not fully expressing? And that's, really the point of what I wanted to bring up, and just to really celebrate these uh, this the June Pride Month, the community of LGBTQ plus, because this is, to me, paramount, uh, what we need to have more of moving forward. People need to come out and fully express. I need to say all about what I express in my sharing of the story of the ancient goddess, whether or not people uh, respect it, appreciate it, think it's as interesting as I am or not. Do you get what I'm saying? So, um, so particularly, what I want to do now is go into that story of Ainana and the hymn, and talk about that. Um, this was a hymn to the ancient goddess Ainana, that's called the Holy One, and they had a procession representing by male and female, uh, as gender, but that the men would wear colorful clothing, and like colorful scarves, and kind of don women's clothing, and the women were doing the opposite, with men in with wearing male clothes, and acting more um, masculine, and carrying the sword as warriors, right? So they represented as priestess warriors, or priest warriors, for their acknowledgement and honor of the Holy One. And by the way, holy, Holy, is the derivative of whole, Whole, wholeness. That can be understood as like a wholeness is in a spiritual sense. So um, let me go ahead and read that poem, and I'll just go through it quickly. They're celebrating with the uh, parade, with the drums, with the tambourine, and they're hailing to the ancient goddess, great lady of the heavens. And the male prostitutes are able to comb their hair before you. They mean priestess, priest, when they are using that term. And they decorate the napes of their necks with colored scarves. They drape the cloak of the gods about their shoulders. They walk before you as righteous men and women. They hold the soothing harp by their sides. Those who follow wear the sword belt, and the spear is grasped in their hand. The women adorn their right side with men's clothing, and the men adorn their left side with women's clothing. And they are excited and celebrating with jump ropes and colored cords. The young men who carry hoops sing to you. The maidens and priestesses walk before you, and they are all celebrating and praising to the ancient goddess, which is just a wonderful reflection on what the June parades in the Pride Month are celebrating all throughout the world. This is happening everywhere. I remember being in Paris, and it was a Pride parade, and it was just fantastic. So this is everywhere, right? This isn't just in your city near you. We're celebrating this everywhere, and what a beautiful thing. So I wanted to just I wanted to just kind of end here with talking about a little bit that is important, that just thinking about history, and that, for centuries we've seen the consequences of what is over identification with one side, one gender, whether it's hyper rational, controlling aspects that are distorted towards masculine, or the codependent, self-sacrificing aspects of a woman that is, ends up being wounded. And whether either energy dominates the self unconsciously, it leads to disconnection. And it's either within ourselves, from others, or even from the earth. So reclaiming these energies, both the feminine and the masculine within us, is an aspect of moving towards wholeness, that integration of both, of all things. And it's not just essential to have this inner balance for our personal healing, but it's essential for the collective evolution. That's why I think that this is so prominent and so important to celebrate Pride, all of us having a shift in our perspective. Because I think we know that a man who's in touch with his inner feminine becomes more compassionate. He's more emotionally intelligent, and he's attuned to the subtleties of life. That's what I'm saying, so important. And a woman who embraces her inner masculine is more sovereign, more confident in her voice, right? And she's capable of setting clear boundaries, which is also what I talked about a lot in the first episode, and very important for all of us. And then that, I think that non-binary and queer individuals often embody these fluids naturally. They just naturally have this within them. It's amazing to watch. And if you have friends like this, or you yourself are of the non-binary or queer, then that this is what is natural within you. So this is important to recognize, and that these ancient cultures also recognized it. They understood it without having to change their perspective. It was just understood. It was the way that they lived their daily life. So to know ourselves fully is to recognize that inner dance between the masculine and feminine, and that this cultivates awareness that can only be helpful, that can only be beneficial, and that can help heal the wounds of gender, that have the wounds that have created shame, or trying to control others, and then also a sense of abandonment from some people. So it's the path of sacred union, right? The path of integration, the path of becoming fully human, and the path of wholeness. So thank you for being with me. I hope you enjoyed this blend of practice with the breathing, the fire breathing, like I said, letting go, right? Letting go some of these thoughts and perspectives that maybe we just don't understand, but knowing that we have this perspective extends way back to 5,000 years ago in the Sumerian culture. We have evidence of that, can maybe be helpful for you to shift and have more of a progressive perspective in how the world is today. And it's just an invitation. You don't have to change your perspective. You're more than welcome to stay with whatever it feels right for you. But it's an invitation to embrace your inner wholeness, to honor the expressions of all beings, and to celebrate the courage it takes to show up fully as you are. So, the next episode, I will get more into the details of what that looks like, connecting with your inner feminine or inner masculine, and a little more into how the Sumerian culture saw this in their everyday life. And of course, I'll have another breathwork practice technique for you. So, thank you for being here. Thank you for listening, and always just appreciate your support. So blessings to you. Have a beautiful day.